Hello and welcome to A VO's Journey. Happy Tuesday. I put out a video this morning about doing this video, and of course the title is Help, Nothing is Working. And I really want to dive into this topic, give you 3 things that I believe will help you. You know, I work with a lot of voice actors, great people, and there are some times when some of them struggle, nothing's working, and they've been at it for a while, and nothing seems to be happening in their voiceover business. So I wanted to do this video and, you know, hopefully give some things that you can do. So I'm going to go through 3 steps here, and, you know, follow these steps to, you know, really help you grow your voiceover business or get out of the weeds. Okay. Real quick, make sure if you haven't had a chance yet, one of the ways, right, that's great is to audition. And, you know, we have first month off free. We got about 11 spots left to join Academy Voices. I mean, when I say 11 spots that are have the first month free. So there'll be a link below, so make sure you check that out. And also, if you need coaching, voice acting coaching, marketing, etc., check out A VO's Journey Lead Academy. We have 50% off the first month. So some great things for you to join. And if you join A VO's Journey Lead Academy, you get access to Academy Voices for free as part of that. But all right, so anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this. So again, we're talking about people who are, you know, have been at voiceover for a little while, and they're just struggling to get anything. Like, they can't seem to get work. They might not necessarily know what's wrong, or they might have an inkling, but they just don't know what to do. So I'm going to give you 3 processes. All right. The first thing we have to do always in any situation when we step back, all right, is to assess the overall situation. All right. So there's 2 things in this. I wrote notes. You should be very excited about this episode because I actually wrote notes for this one. Typically I don't. All right. But the first thing is there's 2 things here to assess the situation. And of course you could do so many assessments with your voiceover business, like audio, sound, etc. But I want to kind of just dive right into the main things, because my assumption is your audio is good. If your audio is not good or quality, that's the very first thing you have to work on besides acting and all that other stuff or whatever. Your audio has to be great. Okay, so that's a given. That's a given. So that's, of course, the very first thing no matter what. Your audio has to be good. All right, but let's go to assessing the current situation that you're in, okay? The first thing is, A, is it your effort that you've been putting in? Or B, is it perhaps your actual voiceover style? Okay, why is this important? Because, and you're only going to be able to answer this, right? And when I say effort, I mean, are you putting in the right effort? Right? Like, are you actively working on getting jobs every single day? And I don't mean, you know, you're watching videos every single day. I mean, you're auditioning multiple times a day. You're getting up and putting up demo samples on websites that are out there driving work to voice actors. Are you doing that every single day? Okay. Are you doing that? So that, like, that's putting in the work. So only you can answer that. Or are you doing that and you're still not getting any work, which could mean that it's your style. I have experience in this because this is exactly what happened to me. When I first started in voiceover, I was not getting a lot of work. I got some audiobook work here or there. I think I'd been a teacher for many years, so my teaching voice helped, even though it was still pretty bad, you know, when I was doing it. But I couldn't get any regular work. And it wasn't until a year and a half or so later that I was so frustrated about my situation that I realized maybe it's my delivery, right? Maybe it's my voiceover, the way I sound. Maybe it's my voice. What was that it? And I went on this journey to, you know, discover, right, what other men and, for me, like around what I did, were being hired for. What did they sound like? What was the pitch of their voice? What was the accent of their voice? Do you know what I mean? Who are these people who are getting hired the most? And I listened to them, and I worked very hard to tailor my deliveries to sound a lot more like the cadence, the pitch. Of course, it's still my voice, but I worked very hard to change that, because that's not how I sounded when I first started. I had this high pitch, very nasally voice. You can still hear, I always had kind of a nasally voice where I talk forward when I'm projecting. Interestingly enough, when I narrate or when I do voiceovers, right, it drops to the back of my throat. Right, things change. Like I go to the back, say it changes, and I learned that because what I was doing wasn't working. Now, when I'm doing long form narration, where I'm talking like this, I'm instructing for nonfiction. This is typically my voice I use. Right, this is my instructor voice. When I'm doing a commercial, I might do something like this. Mornings aren't for everybody. Coffee's on. A brisk sunrise and a cool morning, right? Like I change, my voice style changes because I learned that's what people were hiring for. And then when I changed my voiceover style, that's what worked. I work with a lot of people that have very strong accents. And you're from a part of the country where, you have a very strong accent. You don't necessarily have a neutral American accent. Okay. And the question I always get to, does this limit me in getting voiceovers? Yes, it can. I want to be open and honest with you. Yes, it can limit you. It can limit you because the majority of voiceovers are going to be from a neutral American accent. Now, that doesn't mean that people aren't hiring for Southern accents or, accents from, Northern accents or California accents. All the, people, yes, there are jobs, clearly, and those are areas. But for the most part, unless you are really getting into regional areas where you find agents or things who are hiring specifically for that voice style, there's still the majority of your work is going to be neutral American. So if you find yourself in a situation where you don't have a neutral American accent, okay, don't be down about it. All right. Just know that A, don't beat yourself up. B, it's okay to start work. You've got a great style already. Let's add another one. We need to work on it. You'll talk to many people. I was talking to a very successful voice actress the other day, and she was telling me how she worked very hard. She had a very thick New York accent, or from Jersey, and she had to work very hard to move towards a neutral American accent as opposed to that Jersey, New York State or New York, city type of accent, because people aren't hiring many people with that accent. So you have to understand too, there is a part of this where you have to, we're professional speakers, but people are hiring us for a specific type of voice and style. So you have to assess whether or not you sound like that. And that could be a reason why you're not getting a job. It could also be your storytelling. Okay, you have to really look at it. Now, you might say, now logically, we'll move on to part two. Logically, I think for me, I'm like, okay, well, I think it's this, I think it's that, but I don't have enough experience to say this is it definitively. How do I know? Okay, well, this is where you join like a VO's Journey Lead Academy. This is where, like, if you're already in one of these places, ask the people what they think is going on. Don't be a part of a community and then don't ask. All right, ask. You know what I mean? And then when you're given advice, you have to take it to heart. Not and I know I don't have it on here because I want to get to 2 and 3, but taking constructive criticism is extremely important. Right? Meaning, like, the only way we ever get better, right, in life is that we try things, we assess or get assessed, right? We get critiqued, and we improve, right? We improve ourselves by trying new things based off of the criticisms we receive. That's how you improve on everything, whether it's sports, whether it's in a professional world, whether it's in art, right? That's how we improve. So you have to take that constructive criticism, apply it, and try to move forward. Sometimes I work with people who they struggle applying the advice, and that's okay. It's a journey, but keep trying. All right, keep getting feedback, and it's important to get feedback from people who are experienced, who have done this for a long time, who know what they're talking about. It's wonderful to be, I mean, I love working together with peers. I think it's important, but remember, you know, you want to get advice about your business from people who are successful. Okay, not that people who aren't successful yet aren't amazing, because they are. And they're incredible, and they have all the good intentions in the world, right? But that would, you know, it would be like, you know, are you going to go to a doctor for your surgery, or someone who, you know, is just starting out in school to be a doctor? You're going to go to someone who's done it, right? It's the same sort of thing. So just make sure you remember that. 2, once we have that assessment, we need to make a specific plan. And here is the bare bones of the plan that you need to make. It needs to be simple. A, we need to make sure that you are taking daily actions that specifically generate work opportunities. Okay, there's a lot of daily actions that you can take that might be necessary evils, but they don't generate actual work activities. So what I mean by that is, you know, you need to audition daily. You need to, if you're not up on, you need to be putting yourself up on platforms with your profiles and demos and samples. If you don't have those, you need to get those. You need to do those and then put them up. That is your primary goal every single day. I work with a lot of people who are nervous. They're worried about auditioning, and they're not getting anywhere. Well, we can't get you anywhere until you audition, until you put your stuff up places, until you are everywhere. We can't even, it's hard to, that's another thing. So remember we were talking about in the beginning, assessing where you are. If you are not doing all of those things I just said, it might not be your performance. It might be the right actions. All right, you might be taking a lot of action, but they might be the wrong actions. You need to take the right action. Okay, and then B in there is just like the caveat for A, right? Which is, again, making sure that whatever you're doing, your daily actions, they've been specifically known to generate work with the least amount of effort. Meaning that, you know, like, for example, somebody's like, well, I know that I need to make a website rank #1 on Google to drive traffic. Yes, that would get you a ton of voiceover work. However, that's also going to take you years and years to do, which is fine. We're all making that effort, but I'm saying that's not going to get you work today or tomorrow. It's going to get you work years from now. So that's okay, but that's not an action that you're going to take that's going to generate work quickly for you. Auditioning for a job today, right, where you could be hired possibly tomorrow or the next day or the next week, that's actionable things that you could do to get work now. Okay? So we need to make sure that we're on the right action. All right, now let's move on to 3. This is one of the most important parts, and a lot of people fail on this. You have to record and measure your actions and outcomes. Okay, they always said there's no, you can't be successful in anything unless we can measure it. Right? Like you can't know whether you're moving forward unless it's measurable. We have to be able to measure it. So, moving to that book, which you know I've mentioned, although I've mentioned it in a while, the 4 principles, right, of, it's called the 4 principles of, it's not dedication, but I have to give out a book. But anyways, the book is 4 principles of productivity, something like that. But anyways, so the point is this is right where we're doing lead measures and lag measures, right? We are basically looking at saying, like, I want to get 5 auditions done Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? So that's 25 auditions, but I want 5 auditions a day. Now, what we would measure is, did you complete those auditions? Okay, that's a lead measure. A lead measure is something that you can control, all right, and that we know has a predictable outcome. So we know if you do enough auditions, you're going to get a voiceover job, right? So that's a lead measure. A lag measure is something that lags behind those actions. So like, for example, how much money you made at the end of the month. That's a lag measure, okay? So it's really important to focus on measuring these actions you're taking, because if you measure the actions you're taking and then we measure the results of those actions, then we can actually determine how much more action we need to take, or variety of actions we need to take to generate the results we're actually looking for. Without being able to measure those results, or to measure those actions, we have no way to be certain about the results. Okay? So we are trying to build our formula for success, not leaving it up for chance. All right, I don't know how long this video is. It was probably long enough today. I hope that this has helped you. Remember, assess the situation, okay? Make your plan. And the third one is you've got to measure. You've got to measure your actions and measure the results, and then change or, update your actions to change and grow your results. But you have to measure. Many people, I would say the majority of people, aren't measuring anything they're doing. Okay, they might just measure it simply by looking at the end of the month, did I make anything? That's not what you need to be measuring. What you need to be measuring is the actions you're taking. Because if you're not measuring those actions, you will never know what you have to change or grow in order to get better results. Does that make sense? All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. Remember, check out Academy Voices. This is a great opportunity for you to actually get auditions daily where you can get jobs. All right. As well as Avio's Journey Elite Academy. This is another great place for you to go to learn your training, get support, all the things that you need to help your voiceover business. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. You have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. I'll talk to you later. Bye, everyone.